everybody? Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your weekend. I hope that you had a great week. I hope everything went great. For those who had a tough week, you're still breathing. You're still in the fight. Saddle up, get your head together, get ready. Next week will be a better week. You got to keep telling yourself that next week is going to be a better week. And you've got to keep doing it and keep pushing. I'm telling you, the big word for me has always been relentless. People talk about, well, you've been able to do this because of that. You've been able to do this because of that. And the truth of the matter is, everything that you see me having accomplished wasn't accomplished at one point. I didn't have degrees at one point. I hadn't authored 24 books at one point. I hadn't started 47 different companies over 34 years at one point. At one point, I was a Black kid coming out of an impoverished neighborhood with a mother that gave birth to me at 15 years old and was never able to take on that role, reared by my great-grandparents, never knew my father, the whole nine. I came from that, and I started, and I just had something in my mind planted in me by people, thank God, that said, hey, where you're at isn't what you're built for. And then that started something in me. I was an avid reader. I mean, from 3 and 4 years old. Matter of fact, I started reading the encyclopedia at 5. By 10, I had read all the volumes. That's just how I'm built. I am a natural learner. I want to see and read and learn, and I use what I learned to develop myself. I learned that there were things out there that people were doing, and I learned that there were people who started in worse situations than I started in that were doing phenomenal things. And so that told me, if they can do it, I can do it too. If they had more obstacles in their way than I did, and they did it, I can do it too. And so I set out and I started to do it. And it was just one step after another. When I wrote my first book, I had no idea I would write 24. But then I realized that that was something I had to share. And I was pretty good at sharing it in writing as well as sharing it in books. Man, you know, there's another 25 books just in the videos that I've done that I can have converted into text and organized. And you know, one day I'm probably going to do that. But I like the process I have of writing. So that's going to be something I do until I leave this place. And it's going to be something that blesses people and helps me, you know, as books sell. But the thing is, I didn't start there. So you got to understand, you got to get up and you got to go out and get it. I'm here this morning because I was actually sitting up in the office, and I was sitting up and I was writing I'm condensing my Crushing Beliefs course because I'm doing the masterclass next Saturday. So next Saturday at noon, I'm doing the masterclass, and there's still some slots available. And I want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to get in because we're only accepting 20 people at this time. I don't think I'm going to change it. But if I do, I will also add an additional name to the drawing because I want everybody to have a good chance at winning. But right now, 20 people. And before I forget, the 20 people who enroll will be entered into a drawing. And on the day of the class, I'm going to draw 2 people's names out of a container, a hat, a bag, or something. And I'm going to do it live while the class is going on. And the 2 people I draw will be gifted platinum packages. That means they will have 52 sessions with me. That's 1 year. It's valued at $10,500. It's my flagship package. It's where most of my clients end up. And I'm going to gift it to 2 people who sign up. So that alone is a reason to come there. But I'm going to tell you what I'm looking at is I said, let me just kind of break it down to them what this course is all about. So I'm sitting here and I'm doing it. So I have it all up here. We're talking about 15 modules that I'm going to condense into points that we can get through in 2 hours or less. And this 2 hours is going to be action-packed because you're going to be participating. I'm going to be answering your questions. You're going to be moving along. I'm going to have sent you the whole course, which in and of itself is $397. But all you're paying for the course is $150. And you're going to get me to teach it to you. Now, the course is self-paced. If you go buy the $397 version, you get it. You go through it at your pace. You're going to get that 397 version, but you're going to get me to teach it to you. And I'm going to show you how to use some very good skills. But the first thing you have to realize, what's the first thing you got to do with limiting beliefs? You got to identify what beliefs are holding you back. And most people don't know. Here are some of the common beliefs. And this isn't all of them, but I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources. The fact that I failed at it in the past means that I'm always going to fail at it. I'm just a failure. My past has doomed my future. The things that I've done in my past has meant that I'll never catch up. I'll never overcome it. I'm going to always be behind because of what I did back then. And it just isn't. I come from a family of people who have never done anything like this. So how in the world am I going to do it? I can't do it. Nobody in my family's ever done it. What else? Limited resources, the fact that I can never ever make progress in anything. My progress is always slow, and so there's no satisfaction in it, so I quit. And I can go on, and you can think of some things that slow you down. The fear of what people say. Nobody's going to help me if I don't have. And let me tell you something. There's no such thing as a lack of resources. That in itself is a limiting belief. The idea that there's a lack of resources means that you have limited your idea of what resources are. Carlo Lockhart. I want to read this. Matter of fact, I just put it on here and let you read it, but I want to read this. It says, Dr. Rick and Marion, I am so proud of what you have accomplished and what has motivated you to do what you do as your life's work to help others in the world. Sending prayers and love to you both. And we both receive it. Thank you, Carla. And I just want to appreciate it. To hear that at a time like this when there's so much going on, it means a lot. And I will definitely pass this on to Marion. Matter of fact, I'll just screenshot it. Well, I'll take a picture of it. Screenshotting is going to take too long. I'm going to do it. Because when I tell her people are always acknowledging the work she does, she thinks I'm just trying to big up her and stuff like that. And so I want to let her know it's not just me. The world really appreciates what she does. So now we can take this off. But anyway, there are all these limiting beliefs, right? Everything is stopping you. I'm telling you, one of the biggest impediments, even when people don't realize that limiting beliefs are what's stopping them. Thank you, Carla. Thank you so much. And I'm also praying, and I'm believing that God is going to do something awesome in that area. The good thing is that we are very in tune and communicate every day. There's no hostility. There's no anger. So I really believe that the things that are there, both of us know that the things that are there aren't because we intentionally did something to each other. I think sometimes it just happens. And it can definitely happen when so much is going on. But the thing is, thank you. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you. And I'll definitely let her know that you are sending prayers her way. And I love that all of my people showed love to her. And because that means a lot to me. It meant that I carried her well and I represented her well. And people see her in the light that I've always wanted people to see her in and continue to see her in. And then on that note, look, limiting beliefs will shut you down, because this is the thing. The truth of the matter is the mind is unbelievably powerful, and it can take you places that you never thought. And anything that you can conceive in your mind, you can have. That's God. Matter of fact, the ability to conceive it, it's God's evidence to you that it's possible. See, if we believe in God, in whatever way we believe in God, I'm not here to tell you what you should believe and how you should believe it. I'm going to leave that between you and God. But what I will tell you is this, that if you believe in God and you believe that God is benevolent, then you have to believe that if I can conceive it in my mind, it's God's evidence that it's possible. Why? Why would God give you the capacity to conceive something you can never have? That would be torture. That's not benevolent. That's not kind. That's not love. The fact that I can conceive it tells me, hey, that's a part of the vision. And the thing is, the vision is supposed to be huge. The vision is supposed to be intimidating. Why? Because the vision is supposed to represent God's greatness inside of me. My favorite quote of all time is, if the vision that you have for your life isn't so huge that it intimidates you, it's a good chance it's insulting God. God didn't create you for mediocrity. God didn't create you to be average. God didn't create you to sit around and move around and meander through the maze of mundanity and mediocrity. God designed you to be a representation of what's possible. God designed you to be a representation of his power. God designed you to be a symbol and a hope and an inspiration to people. So here's what happens. The only limits that you have on your life are the ones you accept with your mind. I'll give you a prime example. People say, well, there are some limitations. You can't defy the law of gravity, the universal law of gravity. You can't. Let me tell you something. I done seen some crazy things in my life, and I'm gonna tell you, the mind has the ability to move things. Everything in this universe is actually designed to respond to your mind. You want to see something happen, change your mindset and watch the entire environment around you immediately shift. I'm talking about, I can walk into a room. The room is somber, and I can guarantee you within 3 minutes of being in that room, you'll start to see people light up. The energy I bring into the room cast out darkness because I walk like that. Even when I'm going through, I walk with a smile. I walk, and I'm telling you what it'll do. But let me tell you something that you can probably get. You don't think that the people during the times that Orville and Wilbur Wright were talking about creating some kind of machine that can fly, you know, they were called stupid, crazy, and everything else. Why? Because only birds fly. You can't fly. You can't create anything to fly. Nobody knew about the law of aerodynamics at the time because nobody had created them. So you couldn't fly. But what happened? They didn't accept the limit. See, it's not a limit until you accept it. See, if you refuse to accept the limit, then it's not a limitation. See, there was a limit out there that kids that come from the hood I come from, especially black males, end up dead or in jail by the age of 18. See, I already had a label on my back before I walked out the house at 4 years old that by the time I was 18, I'll either be dead and in jail. That was something that was constantly being spewed. You're going to be dead or in jail at 18. Your little quick temper, your little bad mouth, you always want to fight, you blah, blah, blah. But see, the whole time there were people around me, starting with my grandparents, that were pointing out something beyond what I could see. And then there were people sitting up telling me things about myself that I couldn't see, but the people that were telling me were people I respected. And so I started to wait a minute. Then I started to read, and when I read, the first thing that reading done, you'll find out that the top performers in the world, the most successful people in the world, are the most avid readers. I'm telling you why. Reading will expand your mind. Reading will expand your reach. Reading will expand your expectations. Let me tell you something. The moment I started reading, I left the hood. The moment I start reading, I left the hood. I traveled to different places in Africa. I traveled to South America. Why? Because I could read about it. I could learn about it. I can see. I also traveled into the world of wealth. I traveled into the world of business ownership. I'm talking about a kid that ain't 10 yet. I'm talking about seeing things because I decided to simply read something other than, well, they didn't have memes then, but yeah, I wasn't just trying to be entertained as a kid. I don't know where it came from, but I had a desire to learn. I was reading labels on bottles in the store. I had to read. But what it did is it opened up the world for me. And I still read a minimum of 2 books a week. Yeah, over 100. I've been reading over 100 books a year for over 20 years now. And I have one of the most hectic and busiest schedules. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm going all day, but I read. Why? Because you know what reading does? It advances me every day. So my goal every day is to not go to bed the man that woke up. I have to grow. Reading guarantees that I do. I go to bed knowing something I didn't know that morning every day. I never reach a point where I think I know it all. I never reach a point where I miss the know it all or I've got it all figured out. I am a constant learner because the more I learn, the more I can bless people. And when I bless people, I'm blessed. I'm blessed in my spirit. I'm blessed in my heart. I'm blessed in my emotions. I'm blessed in my finances, but I'm blessed. And I consistently do this because it's my passion. It's why God put me here. It's why God gifted me with certain things that I just simply do naturally. And now I know how to use it and why to use it and who to use it with. But let me tell you something. There are some limiting beliefs that's got you jammed up. You've been meandering and hanging around the same place, just gradually moving on, taking that 5% increase at the job every year, knowing you're not happy there, sitting around in misery, in situations around people who don't appreciate you. You're sitting around and you're looking and you got this aspiration, but you don't know where to start, so you don't do anything. Let me tell you something. I told you this yesterday. I'm going to tell you again. Look, when you are about to embark upon doing something you've never done before, how you are going to do it at that moment you're making the decision is none of your business. How is none of your business. Your job is to simply commit and take action. Commit and take. That's your only responsibility, is to commit and take action. Commit and take action. That's your job. Commit and take action. And then as you take action, providence moves too. Matter of fact, hold 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm here. But check this out. I want to read this to you, and I didn't want to skip over it. It's something I keep on my vision board. And it's something that I live by. I learned it a long time ago. It's written by William Hutchinson Murray, somebody that existed back in the 1800s. But he wrote this. He says, until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Man, takes me to Hebrews 10:35-38, says, my soul has no pleasure in those who draw back to perdition. But we are not those who draw back. We are those who continue on unto the saving of the soul. But it says those who it says the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. The ignorance of this truth kills countless ideas and splendid plans. It says that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. Then he says, all sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. See, the universe is taught to respond to faith, and see, faith is expressed in action. Not just what you say, but you got to act on it. So the universe literally is designed by God to move based on faith. It's responding to faith. Now, here's the problem. People use the word faith. And it's always a positive connotation. But the truth of the matter is, faith is whatever you have a strong enough belief in to cause you to behave and move a certain way. A lot of you have faith in failure. A lot of you have faith in darkness. A lot of you have more faith in poverty than you do in building wealth. A lot of you have more faith in suffering being your lot in life than you do walking out and living life victoriously. See, you got to be careful where your faith is invested, because it's invested somewhere. There's no such thing as not having faith. It's what do you have faith in? Is your faith in the problem, or is your faith in the solution? But then he says, all sorts of things occur to help one that never would have otherwise occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision to commit, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance. I just told you there's no such thing as lack of resources. You ought to read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. But anyway, unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have ever come his way. Before the step was taken, before the person became committed, there was nothing that indicated that anything was going to go their way, that anything was going to work out. And they are sitting there making the decision based on whether or not they're going to do this, on whether or not they can see how. How are you going to do it ain't your business right now. What are you going to do? Are you committed to it? Are you going to make it happen? Step out. I can't tell you how many times I said, I'm going to do that. Had no clue. But I made them, and I mean, I've literally seen it happen in seconds. I've stood up one time when I was really just starting to rebuild after I took that big hit back in 2011, 2012. I'm starting to rebuild. And so I'm doing all of my work at a satellite office out of Starbucks in West Village in Dallas. I'm living in Dallas at the time. Don't get me on that one, but I'm living in Dallas at the time. So I'm in West Village. And so I'm there every morning, 5 o'clock when they open. I'm there and I'm working. I may take a break to eat, but I'm working almost till they close, and they close at 11. I mean, I was going hard because I was coming out of something, and I was going to make sure I was putting in the work and be committed to what nothing else at that moment more important to me coming out of that and being stronger, being better, and standing up and representing God. I told God when it started, you don't have to bring me out of it. Just wake me up. Don't let me die and watch me. That was my conversation with God. If you wake me up, I'm going to answer the bell every day without fail. Wake me up. And the beautiful thing about Starbucks, they open on Christmas. So, I mean, I'm putting in the work. And eventually I got to where I could work and set up a spot and do the home office thing, and evolved, moved into another office. Now I'm here. And at some point I'm going to expand again. I don't know how and where or what, but I'm going to do it as my heart perceives it. But here's the thing. I'm telling you that I'm sitting in there and I'm going, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I can't stop here. I got to make this next move. And I'm serious. A person stops by and he goes, hey, man, I walk in every day and I speak to you because you're sitting right here. But I always see you got these books sitting here. You got the laptop set up and you've got all this stuff going on. What do you do? Then I tell them what I do. And I say, okay, this is where I'm going. And this is what I'm trying to do right now. And either that person was the dude or they knew the dude. Hey, man, I got a friend that does this here, whatever, like this. I'm going to tell you something else, man. And God has put it on my heart. I get emotional just thinking about it, but I got to tell you something. There was a point in time that all I had, that computer was my everything, because it was how I was coming back. It was how I was earning money. It was how I was recreating my brand. It was how I was doing everything. And it crashed. One day I went to log into it. It was dead. It had crashed. I took it to Office Depot for them to do a free, the hard drive. Done. Everything on the gone. And I'm not at a point where I can go out and buy a new laptop. I'm talking about I rebuild from scratch. When I tell you, you look at the finished product and don't understand where faith brought me from. So I'm sitting there, right? And I'm praying, and now I don't even have a laptop. I can't get my assignments done because I'm doing work online. I've started a business. I'm taking artists on. I'm doing content procurement. I'm creating content, and I'm also doing product descriptions for a couple of companies. I had picked up a little gig in Sydney, Australia, picked up one in the UK. I'm for First Choice Lighting and a furniture company in Sydney. And I'm writing these, but I can't do it now. So I might lose the assignment. I might lose the revenue stream. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, I've got this plan and this can't be happening. And I prayed. And I tell you what happened. Unnamed white man. I saw him every day. Up until that day, I saw him. He sits down, asks that question that I got asked every time God moved. I see you sitting here. What is it that you do now? Give me a minute so I can gather myself, because it's important to understand something here. The question, what do you do? I see you sitting here. What is it you do is important. You can't miss that. I was where I was supposed to be. I wasn't off whining. I wasn't off trying to run game. I wasn't off begging somebody for a handout. I was sitting there in my purpose, doing my work. Now he sits up and says, I've seen you every time I come in here consistently. What is it you do? And I told him what I did and what I was trying to do. And I didn't go into detail. I didn't tell him all the bad things and everything. And he says, well, what's wrong with your computer? It seems like it's glitched. I say the hard drive just went out. It's going to take, I took it and got it checked yesterday. It's going to take $100 to fix it. He talked to me about 5 more minutes. He got up and he said, go get your computer fixed. He slid me $100 bill. I'm a firm believer that if he didn't do it, God was going to send it from somewhere else. But this man didn't know me from Adam. He stood up and the Spirit moved him too. And so, and what am I getting at? Providence is a bad thing. And I don't mean bad in a bad way. I mean, it's beastly. I'm telling you, there are times when, and those things are big to me because of where I was, but I done had some big things with big numbers happen too, just in Providence. But I mentioned those because, and those were my most vulnerable and weakest moments. And God showed up. That's why I tell you, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. That's why I can smile at times like this, because see, I trust God bigger than me. He know better than me. And ain't ever failed me yet. So let me tell you something. When I created this course, it was to get people out of that limiting thinking. And it was so frustrating to me that the people who have the most limiting beliefs are the people of faith, the people who claim God. Tab church on Sunday, stressing and anxiety attacks on Monday. Oh, we got to come out of that. We got to come out of that. So I created this course. I created this course because I'm telling you, there's literally a scientific and systematic way to get rid of limiting beliefs. I created this course over 6 years ago. It was so powerful, I was able to sell it to an institution who literally sold it to their students and as a semester course. And they were charging over $4,000 for it. Over $4,000. When the license that I sold it to them, when that license expired, I took it back at the end of last year and decided I was going to give it to the everyday person. And I was going to give it to them at an affordable rate. So I charged the $397. And it's a self-paced course. You go in there, you work it, you work through it. It's real simple. I simplified it and made it that way so you can get through it, but it gets results because it's simply the way that your mind works. God made your mind to evolve. God made your mind to change and grow. You just have to grow it. You have to fill it with the right things. You have to know how the most quickest way to do it. All these things I've spent my life learning. So I put it in a course. But what I did with this masterclass that I'm teaching next week is it's not even $397. I'm doing the whole class, giving you that package that's normally $397. And I'm teaching it, which is the big value. I'm teaching it. The person who designed the course is going to be standing there showing you exactly how to move through it. And we're going to make it happen. In addition to that, I'm giving away 2 platinum packages. That's 52 sessions with me. That's an entire year with me. And I get things done. You've got to invest in yourself. You got to take this. So for $150, you get a $397 course. You get the course designer to step in and teach you. And my time normally starts at $350 an hour. My rapid change breakthrough session, which is my 1 session package, is $350. You're going to get me for a fraction of that. You're going to get the course, and you're going to get a chance to win a platinum package, which is priced at $10,500. And I've just made up in my mind, I think yesterday, that I have a gift. I haven't determined what it is, but I have a gift that I'm going to give everybody. Everybody's leaving with more than what they paid for or thought they were coming to get. That's how I work. My grandfather taught me a long time ago. He said, son, always fill your space. And he defined it, in a couple of ways. Number one, never walk into a room and leave people the way you found them. Number two, always give people more than what they expect to get and more than what they pay for. And that's what I do. Even when the people pay for that platinum package at 10.5, I guarantee you they're getting 20, 25,000 in value. No, and that's why I have a 99.99 success rate. It's because when I'm done, there's no stones to turn over. I done turned them all. There is no unturned stone. We got the work done. If it means I've got to go a few extra sessions on my dime to make sure it happens, it's gonna happen. We getting there. If you're clear about what you want, I'll get you there. I promise you that. And things are getting sweet. I made myself a promise that I was going to touch 1 million lives this year. Well, I can't do that in one-on-one sessions, but I can do it by doing multiple classes and doing these videos and so many other ways. And the feedback that I get from people who tell me that I'm blessing them, that I'm helping them. I mean, there's a person that came on and told me I saved their life 2 years ago. There's another person that came on, and actually now we're partnered up. And she's a part of the Epic Realm community now. But she came on and said, man, listening to me 4 years ago encouraged her to go back into mental health and get her doctorate and become a nurse practitioner. And these are people that I never met. They just sit and watch. You never know how many people are paying attention to you. That's why you have to be executing faith at all times. You have to be executing faith at all times. Look, I want you to get a chance to be a part of this. I want you to have an opportunity to win. I want you to break free of the things that are holding you back. I'm going to show you how to do this next Saturday. If you haven't signed up, sign up. Also, you're going, now here's the beautiful thing. Even if you can't make it next Saturday, sign up. Here's why. Number one is I'm going to record the whole thing. So this is going to be a recorded visual course. The written course is going to be a visual course based off of what we do that day. So people are going to get to see me interact with you and whatever. If you don't want your picture on there, you can turn your picture off and nobody will be able to see you, but it's going to be recorded. You can turn the camera off so nobody can see you, or you can participate live and be a part of this course. If you don't attend, you'll be able to still see it free. If you don't attend, you're still going to have your name put into the drawing to win the platinum packages. So this is a chance to really step up, and I want to encourage everybody who watches this video. If you are not at a level where you say, hey man, I'm killing it, you want to be here, because anybody who knows me knows I don't just give you what you come for. You want to be here. Anybody knows I don't just give you what you come for. For the people who consistently show me and my family, my wife and my family love, keep it coming. Keep both of us lifted. Keep showing the love. And we're going to keep trusting God, and we're going to believe for the best and most awesome outcome that glorifies God and how we both move. I absolutely adore my wife. I absolutely adore the work she does. I think she is one of the most powerful people I ever seen in my life, looking at where she came from. And so that's that. And I think she holds me in equal regard. And so it is what it is. Sometimes the enemy creeps in places you're not expecting. You think you've got XYZ covered and everything's good, and the enemy comes in. But again, I have a secret weapon. I've got something bigger than any problem I've ever had on my side. And so I'm going to trust that. And everybody that's showing me love, you don't know how much that means. And consistently show up on her channel and show her love. Show her love and support her, because where doing videos and public speaking comes naturally for me, that's not where she moves, but she needs to be there. She needs to be there. There are people who need to hear what she has to say. So definitely pop up on her, show her love, and give her support, and trust that God is moving in our situation. On that note, I am out of here. I hope to see you next Saturday. I'll actually be sending out the courses to the people who have already signed out starting Monday. So the quicker you get up, the quicker you'll get the course and get a chance to go through it, because like I said, it's 15 volumes on different beliefs and how to deal with them. And it's worksheets and a bunch of other stuff you can look at and kind of get an idea. Because remember, we're going to be moving through this, and it's going to be electrifying, and it's going to be powerful. And the way that I do it, I imprint. And when I talk about imprint, I imprint and impress within your mind. So you retain a lot more than you normally would in a situation like this. And I know how to do it. So show up ready to get the help you need. On that note, I'm out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I challenge you to do the same and have an